We are working on the series which is dedicated to cancer survivors. In this series, we will talk to cancer survivors, doctors, healthcare entrepreneurs, and we will try to bring the first-hand information which can help in more ways than one. We can also save some life somewhere. Winning a life battle against cancer himself, and now helping lots of people with an invention which is saving thousands of lives everywhere. Hari Subramanian, the cancer survivor, the healthcare entrepreneur, is here with us to share his life journey. So let's welcome Mr. Hari. Welcome on the show, sir.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you very much.
So as I said that, this is the second episode in the Cancer Survivor series. And the first thing which I really want to know from you is about your cancer survival journey. When were you diagnosed with cancer? How long did it take to cure? The ups and downs and everything about it.
Oh, okay. So I was doing business in Middle East, Africa, and Sri Lanka. Basically, I'm into metal ingots and all that. We have furnaces. We had furnaces in Sri Lanka, in Middle East, and in Africa. So when I was in Sri Lanka in 2009, on a Sunday we were going to a temple because there's nothing Sunday holiday. We're just going for a drive, and when we went to the temple, after finishing everything, when we prostrate in front of I was not able to get up because when I pushed myself, there's a big bulge here. And it's not paining. There's nothing there. When you push it in, it went inside through the axilla gap. It went inside. So we were not sure because I've never had anything like that before, and in fact, I've never been to a hospital before in my life. So I was surprised. So we drove to Colombo back. It was about 1 hour drive from Colombo. Went to Colombo back. Went to the hospitals. Went to a hospital there. I think it's Apollo, and they did a test and all that, and they were suspecting something, but they're not very sure. They said they did ultrasound and some other test, and they said we need to do a biopsy. Till that date I've never heard that word, so I don't know what it means. So I called a friend of mine in Chennai and asked him, these people want to do a biopsy. He said, they're going to put a knife on you, so why do you want to do that? Just fly. It's just a 45 minutes flight from Colombo to Chennai. Let's handle it here. So then I flew to Chennai. Then from there on, I've been going to hospitals, one hospital to a lab there. And about 4 weeks, we've been doing a lot of tests and bone marrow, this, that, and all. And they finally concluded it is a malignant tumor in my lungs and in my lymph nodes. So when they said it, I didn't know the impact because I've never heard anything like that except in cinemas, in movies. First time I haven't met any cancer patient or survivor till that date. So I really don't know the intensity and the impact of it when they actually told me. So the doctor told me that it looks like stage 4, and we need to start. So I don't even know what is stage 4, and he was talking about chemo and all those things. So we were not very sure. So then a friend of mine was a doctor. He explained to me everything, but then he explained to me only. It hit me hard, and then I moved to another hospital where the doctor is a little more friendly. I don't know how to name the hospital. he was handling it well. I will. He gave a. He actually explained to me what it is and how, if it goes bad, what can it do, and what are the possibilities, how it can be there, and chances of cure, and most of it is your own self. How well you can treat yourself and how well you can handle it, and so it kind of I so it was a mixed reaction at that point of time, because I since this the whole thing is very new to me. That's one. Second is, out of blue somebody is coming and saying, oh, you have something which might be fatal, and suppose if it's worst case, you might survive for about a year or so. So kind of I was not ready for it. Nobody will be ready for it, and I didn't even know how to react also. So it was kind of uh, uh, this doctor whom I met after going around 2-3 hospitals, labs, diagnosis, I had a biopsy, I had a histopathology, and all that. Finally, this doctor was able to handle it very well for me. He explained. He said, "Let's try." Because actually, I'm not a smoker. I don't drink, and I'm only thing is I'm a foodie and I eat everything. Uh, and till that date, I haven't taken any big medication. The best I would have taken maybe once or twice antibiotic full course. Other than that, I've never had any medicine also. So um, there's nothing that it can trouble, because I'm also happy-go-lucky guy. I don't take uh, things very seriously, or I don't become very emotional and all that. So it was very new to me. I think because of all this, because my love for food, and love for a lot of other things, it didn't really hit me hard. In the first 2-3 days, it was a bit of because one thing I don't know whether it's right or wrong. I didn't discuss this with a lot of people, friends or family, except of course my wife and all that. I didn't discuss with a lot of people, so I didn't get a lot of advice, opinions, and all that. I just started going. By, I like the doctor, and I just went ahead. So I did had my full sessions of chemo, six chemos, and I had about 45, 50 days of radiation. And before that, I had a small procedure also, surgery. They removed what all is possible, and the rest was taken care of by chemo and radiation. And only thing what I didn't do is they asked me to do a maintenance chemo and continue my treatment. Because after all this, they took another PET CT and they said, I'm fairly okay now. No, there's no active tumors and all that. You're good to go, but still you have to uh, undergo maintenance chemo and all that. But I didn't do any chemo after that, all that. So I was fairly okay, and I was fine. So when things, let's say that after this, the side effects of chemo and radiation was very bad. So about 6 months, I was really in a bad shape. Sometimes you feel, why did we survive? Kind of, because there's nothing to do. You don't have energy to do anything. The side effects are very bad, and mm, basically, there's nothing you look forward for, and you're not able to eat the few things which the main thing which I like is food. So I didn't have much hunger. So even if I eat, After 4-5 spoons, I'm not able to eat. So kind of too many things are there. So I was not very, what to say, I was not very happy in the initial days after all this is over. And slowly, my friends, family start coming, meeting me. Family was there. Friends start coming, meeting me. All my friends, my associates, my acquaintances know me as a always a happy-go-lucky guy and always laughing and all that. So when they came and met me, they were trying to pep me up, saying all this, and that kind of helped me a bit in coming back to my feet. And coincidentally, one of our family friend introduced me to Tibetan medicine. So I went and I was just very curious. So I went and met the Tibetan doctors in Bangalore, and the wisdom is great because without seeing the reports, he is able to tell all most of my problems, and they actually brought me back to my feet quickly. So the Tibetan medicine helped me to come back to my feet early. I really should thank them for bringing me back my normal to my regular appetite, my eating, and other things became normal very fast. In fact, about 5-6 months, I was actually was back to my feet. I started traveling. I started going out. I started traveling abroad, and things were kind of normal. So maybe because it became normal quickly, I started overdoing things. So I traveled a lot because I've been restricted. Like, so I started eating a lot. I started eating everything. I started traveling a lot. So it might have added some stress to my system. I think I overstretched. So 2013, my Tibetan doctor said that I think you have a problem. I think your old guest might have come back. Exactly the same words he said. I think the guest who came earliest, I think, is returned. So then I went and did a PET CT, and I had recurrence metastasis in my. Then I had new tumors in my abdomen and in nasal pharynx. So my Tibetan doctor says, so I can treat you if you are confident, or if you have second thoughts, you can go back to your doctor who treated you earlier. So I, in between, what happened is that 3 years, my travel, I went to a lot of hospitals in India, meaning a lot of streams. Homeopath, I met homeopaths, I met naturopathy people, I met Siddha, I met Ayurveda doctors, I met allopathy doctors. I met a lot of patients. I went abroad. I went to Cleveland. A friend of mine was there in US and Europe. I went to a lot of hospitals just to understand because though I've got I was all right, I recovered. I still had the question why did I get, and should be a reason. So I was very curious. So I was going around trying to understand about cancer more. So kind of I read a lot. Read a lot. I haven't read so much in my even in my school days or in my college days. I read a lot. I traveled. I met so many people. So maybe because of that, whatever I understood, I learned, also would have added stress. Sometimes I feel like that because uh, there are now I feel most of the diseases are disease, the root cause or the start of most of the diseases is from your mind. This was my major, I will not say finding, what I could come up to of my that 3 years of meeting a lot of people, doctors from the different stream of medical science, and I met, I don't know, I would have met more than 150 patients during that time in different hospitals, at their home, and all that. Just, but I didn't have anything to do, so I was traveling, meeting people, and all that. So from what I've read, what I've seen, I could most of the time the reason is a lot to do with your mind, and it all started from yourself. Uh, Say, okay, there may be pan and cigarette and all that, maybe reasons for oral cancer and all that, but rest of it, I feel it's more to do with your mind, which starts the problem, and how your lifestyle is, it kinds of adds up, accelerates it. That's how I can put it. And so I thought, why don't I try curing this or doing this better with Tibetan medicine itself, because it has actually done wonders to me. I recovered very fast, and I was doing pretty well. So I thought, let me try Tibetan medicine. So my second stint, I had Tibetan medicine, and I got cured fully. So after about 6.5 months of Tibetan medicine, I again went and took my PET CT, and it said no active tumors, not even no inactive, nothing, and I'm clear. So that's where, and my cancer journey, I think it ended there. I think because after that I didn't do any test, or I didn't step into any hospital after that. Touchwood till today, and I'm what I am today.
All right. So basically, alternative medicine, of course, worked wonders in your case, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Even allopathy was okay first time, but side
hmm,
effects were pretty bad. But
hmm,
alternate medicine, so alternate medicine has its own limitations.
hmm,
So I can't say fully, oh, it's the best. You know?
hmm,
Each has its own strengths and limitations.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But while, an idea struck you while you were fighting the deadly disease, which of course germinated into a full-blown business venture. That is your company. LifeSigns is today, of course, saving many lives. Please tell us
Hmm.
about this new baby, which is of course certainly growing very fast and becoming an essential part of hospitals and patients of all age and types.
Okay.
Mhm.
Why say life science is special to me is because, frankly, none of it was planned. This business is not planned. I had an idea, and idea in the sense, not a business idea. It was more like when you were during your chemos or during your sessions, even Tibetan medicine, when you are admitted, you see other patients and how the hospitals handle patients and how they do vital monitoring. Because a lot of things, say, the doctors take a treatment call or a decision based on your tests and how vitals are taken, your vitals data and your lab test put together, they take a decision, treatment call. But it's very, very manual rhetoric process and prone for errors. Okay, I've seen a lot of errors when I was admitted. So that's why I said I will not mention about the hospital. Because a lot of human errors happen during that time, and human errors are possible. One. Second is, say they collect data once in 6 hours, once in a day, and the doctor, when he comes for the rounds, he looks at the data and he changes the treatment or he adds medicine or something like that, which which is not it's not real time data, and so the patients are not monitored full time, which can give so much of information, uh, vital information. So I used to think, so technology has developed so much. Why still people haven't, techies haven't thought about connecting all these devices, giving it in one dashboard? That was the first thought. I was always wondering, why didn't they do it? They could have just connected all the to one dashboard, and the doctor can see it anywhere. You just have to enter it into the dashboard, or at least the devices can be connected to a dashboard where the doctor can see from anywhere. That makes that can actually make clinical outcomes or clinical delivery much better and faster. That was just a thought, and I've been mulling on this for quite some time. And I've also seen a lot of human errors happening in the hospital, not intentionally, unintentionally. Mm. And I wondered why a very critical area it's been not supported by technology very much. And maybe because after now going to hospitals, I feel the doctors and nurses are overburdened, so they don't have time to look at anything, new things, understand new things, look at new things. Very few doctors take time to read about new things and all that. That's what I understood now. But at that point of time, this is a thought, and I traveled to US often because I had some small businesses. I had a lot of friends there and all that. So I used to go. So there, I met a company because they're also my neighbors in a particular office next door, and they are into some health tech thing. I just know they're into something with healthcare and technology. So I bumped into them. But regularly, we meet them, but never had a long conversation. So I met them that time, and we from there on we started talking, discussing, and all that. I understood they do something really high tech. They design chips for semiconductors for medical devices or big companies in the world, like Philips and GE and 3M and all that. They design chips and semiconductors for big companies, for medical device companies, and they also connect the sensors on the chips. And they are at that point of time they were almost in the verge of getting a prototype out, which has got a sensor, connecting the sensor to a small chip and putting a small battery inside, where they were able to pick up vital data, at least ECG when they started with. And kind of, I was really, when I saw, I was really thrilled and excited. And I was telling them about my journey and and they said that's what we have done actually. And they kept the first step. So from there on, I keep talking to them, discussing with them, and all that. And they got the product out uh, in 2017 or 18. They started, I don't remember exactly. So then they wanted to test and do trials. US and all is a bit difficult. They were doing trials and tests in US, but it's a very cumbersome thing. India, it's a bit easy, and population is big, and hospitals are plenty, and we can try. So we started testing and doing trials in India with the proto, with first set of samples they gave, and we keep sharing a lot of data with them. And that point of time, they started an office in India also for doing their R&D, extended arm R&D and backend. They started an office, and we started communicating regularly because they had an office in Bangalore. And it was a journey with them, which has brought the final product today, what we have in the hospitals. And we have a wonderful dashboard and a software pipeline and a hardware device, which is the smallest form factor wearable device in the world, and it's got approvals across the world, and it's got about 21 US patents, and we are here today.
I am just asking this question to understand from you how this device exactly works. So, just for my understanding, we will of course show this on the screen as well while we are talking. That there is just some sort of a patch which is attached to your skin, and then it starts taking the data, and the data goes in the hospital only, which is monitored by the
Okay.
hospital staff. And
Yeah.
what kind of a data, what all data is basically captured other than the ECG, so to say?
Okay, it's a small palm size patch adhesive, which got an adhesive at the other end. You peel the adhesive off and put it here above your heart. It's below your shoulder, and it has got a battery inside, and it basically works for about 6 days. It picks up ECG, it picks up heart rate, it picks up respiratory rate, it picks up temperature, and it picks up posture, your posture, fall detection, and all that. And now with an added companion device, we also do blood pressure and SpO2. So these are the vitals this will measure a solution. And the USP is our alert engine. Say, apart from doing real-time data, we are the only guys, as far as I know, giving near real-time continuous data. We don't give average data, we give continuous data with the latency of max about 18-20 seconds. And normal, we do a latency of 5 seconds. We continuously keep giving data, raw data, meaning the readings. Apart from it, we also have an algorithm. I can't say an AI. We have algorithm running which can give early warning score, which is a British NHS standard early warning scores, and it also gives alerts. It can, if you set the thresholds properly, it can kind of give you an alert where the patient is prior he deteriorates. It can warn you with an alert saying these things are up, these things are low. So I think you need to have a look at this patient, something like that. So this is, I think, we haven't come across with any other so far. And our alert engine is very robust, and our alert mechanism is so far it's been quite tough. So far, we have deployed on about close to 40,000 patients across India in different locations, from to Delhi, Assam, Tamil Nadu, Andhra, Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat. In various hospitals across these states, we have deployed. And we keep, this is a work in progress, kind of. We keep tweaking the software, adding more features, making the alert engine much more robust. And what all additions we can do, we keep doing.
Okay, and how has been the acceptance of this? As in, is it available over the counter? It is available only in the hospital, and the hospital staff is abreast with the training to understand the data. How the entire ecosystem actually works?
Okay, say it's not available over the counter mainly because we are collecting the data, we are throwing the data, or we are transmitting the data. But the point is, there should be somebody the other side to see the data. and that person who's seeing the data other side should be an expert to give an opinion or take some action based on the data we give. So that's precisely the reason we don't sell it over the counter. We sell it through hospitals only or through physicians. We don't sell it over the counter from the pharmacy. That's one. Second is the data accuracy is very high. So critical patients, mostly ours is well suited for critical patients. So critical patient meaning he will be either admitted in the hospital or at home. So even home monitoring, end of the day, though we monitor at home, the data will be seen by a doctor or a physician assistant in the hospital. So we don't give the data, real-time data to the patient because they're not skilled enough. They're only going to go Google and get scared more. Anxiety increases. So though we don't show the data to the patient, but we other end the data will be seen by an expert in a hospital. So we always sell through the hospital our solution. So we don't sell it over the counter. One. Second, when we actually go into a hospital, we first show it to a intensivist or a cardiologist or anesthetist who handles critical patients. We show them, and we also do a trial for about a week or 10 days in the hospital on live patients. We deploy them. We give a dashboard, ask the doctors to have a look at the dashboard, ask them to compare real time with other devices, and check for themselves, and so that they become confident. Because we are asking the doctors to take a treatment call based on the data I give, meaning I give in the sense what our solution gives. So for that, the doctor should be 100% confident on the data we give. So that's why we normally go to a hospital and say, why don't you use it for a week or 10 days and see for yourself? Unless you're convinced, you don't have to take. No cost, no commitment. We will run it in your hospital. You experience yourself. Once you're convinced 100%, then let's talk commercials and other things. That's how we normally go to a hospital and open the door. Once doctors are convinced that whoever doctor is seeing is convinced, then we will go to the management to talk about how we can deploy for in their hospital. Once the management is convinced, then we lay a network inside the hospital where the patch can talk to, and we start training the nurses and the doctors in the hospital. We start training the nurses to deploy the patch and to look at the dashboard, how to get information from the dashboard, what all you will see, all that. Doctors, it's more of an introduction and introduction to the features we have, and how do you derive info from the data we give. That's what we kind of orient the doctors in the hospital. This is the only time-taking thing in the whole amount of it, because we have to train each and every nurse and each and every doctor there. Thereafter, then we have our people there in the hospital. In all the hospitals we have deployed, we have our people there sitting, training the nurses on the go, hand-holding them, and till they get comfortable. So we normally have our people sitting there in the hospital about 8 to 12 weeks. Some hospital even 15 weeks we have made them. Our people will be there till the whole hospital is comfortable using our solution and able to see value for money.
Okay, so what I understand is that you have a network now inroads in many private and public hospitals, right?
Correct. Today we are in fairly good amount of public hospitals like railway health services, ESA hospitals, hospitals like PGI, charity mission hospitals, CMC Vellore and all that. Apart from string of private hospitals, starting from Apollo, we are in Currently, we are in 8 large corporate chain hospitals in India. And individual standalone hospitals in various locations. There are hospitals which are very famous in that, like say Gangaram in Delhi, or Jaslok or Breach Candy in Mumbai. Like that, there are standalone hospitals which are quite famous, and we are fairly in a good number of hospitals pan India.
Data, I'm sure, I mean, there is no doubt about that, data empowers. And when it comes to saving life, it becomes all the more important.
No, more important. True. See, one is data, second is timely data. So our claim is we give data continuously. So the doctor will always have real-time data. It's not data which is taken 6 hours back or 10 hours back, or other. Our data will be instant with a 4-5 seconds latency. One, and also our early warning scores and alert mechanism is very robust, so which can add more value. So doctors can take a call just like wherever they are. It's not. Another thing is they can view the dashboard from anywhere, anytime. So from anywhere, from his house, or when he was in holidaying also, if some patient is in a critical condition, he can just give guidance or advise the nurses on the treatment plan.
Right. Any last message you want to give to, all the sufferers, maybe all the patients?
So okay. So when you go through, you also feel miserable. When you are out of it, okay, you feel triumphant, and you're very confident. So when you are a patient, I know it's painful. You don't like to hear to advices, opinions. In fact, during your chemo, you don't feel like meeting people at all. You don't like to hear any noise. You say it kills your soul if you allow it to. So my request is, don't allow the treatment to kill your soul. As long as your soul is positive, happy, and soul always look for something. Okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. After I finish my treatment, I'm going to climb Mount Everest, or whatever. Even you can look at, I'm going to get my daughter married, my son married, something. You should look forward for something which makes you happy. So for that, your soul has to be alive and kicking. Then only you will lead a life, a livable life, not surviving. There's a lot of difference between surviving on medicines bag, this, that, not, and living a life. So if you keep your soul or your inner self occupied, happy, and keep feeding it with reading or music or playing or meeting friends or traveling, whatever, the soul can do wonders. Your inner self can do wonders. So you might feel, how do I travel? I've taken patients to with me. I've traveled with them. I've compelled them, pushed them to travel with me, and they've seen the benefit. So then they started doing it on their own. 85-year-old lady is now, she's a patient. She's traveling. She wants to go to 108 Vaishnav temples across India. So she wants to do maximum. She's traveling, actually, with the help, of course, but she's traveling at 85. And she's a pure vegetarian. And so see how difficult it will be to travel pure vegetarian. But she's got a support, but she's traveling. And that has made her much, 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 much healthier, happy, and I'm sure she will come out of it with like that. I'm saying, keep your inner self very occupied, happy, and looking forward for something. It can be anything. It can be anything. So looking forward for something that will be a candy for you. So you'll keep moving towards that. So that's a message I would like to give.
After talking to you, I can say that you are a high-spirited person. Your life is like a case study in itself. Of course, a
Mm.
lot can be
Thank you.
learned from your life.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Thank you.
I
Mm.
I would like to say that I feel rather I would say that when your purpose of life drives you to save
Mm.
others' life, of course nothing can be
Yeah.
bigger than the case
Mm.
than the purpose itself. And
True.
on that
True.
note, of course, I wish you the best, and I hope that you spread your wings across so that the sufferers can relieve underneath.
You keep your soul and your inner self very strong, happy, and very light. You can face any. You will have troubles, but you will comfortably face that. Whether it's
Right,
physical, whatever it is.
right.
That's what I've learned. So actually, cancer has taught me a lot and made my life much more colorful.
That isn't like I would say this is rather a message to get.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
because a lot of people there are always like thinking that okay, once you have this deadly disease,
Mm.
there is of course a life is going to end. There is
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing beyond this.
Look forward for it. That's what I say. You should start looking forward for something in life.
Right. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
Subramanian.
much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you. I'm
you.
really
It was
happy
a
to
pleasure
share.
talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Same
Thanks.
here, sir. Thank you.